Hey, Robyn, Jake Green. I thought I would film this, and maybe this is a lot easier, faster method. We're both super busy, and the only thing I don't like is this doesn't allow us to have a conversation and for you to ask questions. But let me go through the data, and maybe I can make this as short as possible, and then we can chat about questions after. So I like to look at things what I call from the 50,000 foot level, like the bird's eye view, and then down to the specific property. So in other words, when I'm advising people on real estate, and I've learned after 17 years, a lot of times you got to take a big macro look at market economy, because I understand a lot of things you're saying when you say, I'm screwed if this crashes, or but those are things that we as humans are predisposed to say because we get all in a huff and we get stressed and whatever. Let's look at the data. So I'm in the MLS system, which encompasses 97.3% of all sales last year. Point is, you're going to see everything. So this little red number here is going to calculate how many properties fit the criteria I'm searching, and I'm going to show you me searching. And we're going to slice the apple in a lot of different ways to question if this property is fair priced, and then question if in the future it's going to crash or you'll lose all your money, or the things we've talked about. All right, so let's look first of all at just active homes for sale in Salt Lake. As you can see, active Salt Lake for sale, there's 2,408 homes on the market right now. If I remove condos and townhouses and go with single families, there's 1,798. And if I look at just new construction, let's say 2018 and newer, there's 344. Now there's one little caution. A lot of builders will advertise a to-be-built home or something that's under construction. I trust pricing on under construction, sort of, but it usually doesn't include basement, landscaping, all that stuff. I always tell my clients, do not believe pricing you see on to-be-built homes. It's the biggest trick in the industry. People pop up a super cool rendering that an architect did and a piece of land and say, this could be 500,000. Reality is, it's just a bait and switch. They hook you, and then before you know it, you're ballooning the price way up. So let's look at built, standing, and under construction. That removed about 100 properties. So right now in all of Salt Lake County in the MLS system, there's 225 homes that are newer built than 2018 for sale before we even look at them. Now, let's just remove the west side and let's do everything on the southeast side. That's from downtown all the way to Draper, east of I-15. Okay, huge market. There's 48 new construction homes for sale. Okay, let's look at them just to get a range. Okay, that should be removed because it's a condo, but they're advertising it as a house. And that's a townhouse. That's a townhouse, as you can see. That's a townhouse. Again, agents miscategorize things all the time. All right, there's the absolute cheapest property. The cheapest new construction home that is built, newer than 2018, on the east side of Salt Lake right now is $452,500. You can see the specs. It's 2,372 total square feet on a tiny 0.10 acre lot. And that's just a model. These come unlandscaped and unfinished basement. So you can see right here, 0 finished basement. They will not finish the basement in that price. And that is out on 140 87 South and 9th East. That's the cheapest new construction home that could be bought right now. Remember, there's 48 of them. You see there's 4 in the 400s, 2 in the 500s, 4 between 600 and 650, 5 between 650 and 700. Median price of these total 48 for sale, as you can see here, is about the mid 700s. Then about 7 properties in the 800s, 5 properties in the 900s, and 7 over $1 million. Okay, that's all East Side Salt Lake. Now let's refine this. And again, I'm not trying to convince you to buy Zenith, but let's propose a buyer was trying to look for something like you're looking for. Let's suppose they just said, hey, I want to be closer to East Bench. I know a lot of people, 700 East is a big divide. Let's suppose it was somebody that said, I'll go anywhere from downtown to 215. So from 0 to 6200 South. If we narrow that build from 0 to 6200 and east of 7th, there's only 14 properties. Okay, again, that was townhouse, townhouse, townhouse. So now the cheapest one is this house right on 11th East for 500 grand. And it's only 1,500 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath, all on one level. And it's a modular home, like super hard to sell. That stuff's, don't get me going on that. But then there's one under construction, but this is on 2000 East, as you can see, which is a busy road. It's been on the market 2 months. They're asking $689. It's only 1,800 square feet total finished, 3-bed, 3-bath, all on one level, quarter-acre lot. That's under construction. The next cheapest is $689. This home is on Highland Drive, 5697 South Highland Drive. Again, a busy street, 3,900 square feet, unfinished landscape, unfinished basement, unfinished landscaping, 0.17 acre lot, small, on Highland Drive. 689 is the price. And then the sister property to that, so 2 houses next to each other, both 689. The next cheapest is this house at 709 grand. 0.23 acre lot, was built this year, 2019, 3,700 square feet, and that one's finished and landscaped, okay? So now at 710, we're getting into some similar properties. Again, here's another one, but it's on 4,500 South. It's 997,000. Point being, we just quickly looked at everything new construction, East Side, Salt Lake, from downtown to Draper. If any customers, because there are people out there that say, hey, I want something new, but I don't want to wait to build something custom. Don't get me going on that. You'd spend way more money. So they want to buy a spec house. You just looked at me breaking down what takes consumers hours upon hours to do on Zillow. And one side note I'll also add to this, it's not like a plethora of a bunch of new properties would pop up. Seeing that there's only 14 active on the market right now, it's not like every week there's 1 or 2 or 3 popping up. This would state that about 1 a month is going to come available. And as you can see, busy road, unfinished basement, not landscaped, not as big, not as nice. So there's one way to slice the apple. If we look at active properties for sale, it makes Zenith look like a really, really, really good deal, okay? But does that fit in an appraiser's box? No, we didn't. An appraiser only looks at sold properties in the market neighborhood. So now you're starting to see me paint a picture of why I say, yeah, an appraiser's gonna say one thing, and I see why friends would say to you, well, I don't know. But if you look at the bigger picture of the market, okay, that alone, and there are buyers like you with cash that look for the same thing. That's why you see anomaly properties sell all over the place. I mean, look at this one, for example. This just hit the market yesterday. 2094 South, 2100 East, pretty close, pretty darn close to where you're at. Although, yes, a little east. 0.23 acre lot. I know this house very well. Taylor Built Homes started it. They got foreclosed on. Somebody else came in and finished it. Landscaped, fully finished. Only 500 square feet bigger than Zenith, 1.1 million is the asking price. Okay, that's active. Let's slice the apple another way. Let's take that same search criteria and let's look at what's under contract right now in escrow that people might be buying, okay? There is this house on 4585 South, 910 East, which is a total of 2,500 square feet, 3-bed, 3-bath, unfinished basement, non-landscaped, tiny lot, 0.12. Someone is buying that right now, and the list price was $485. The next cheapest property that's in escrow is this house on 3030 South, 2000 East. Again, just up the street from Zenith. It's a total of 4,000 square feet, but unfinished basement, not landscaped, 0.19 acre lot. That's under contract right now. The asking price is $760. Okay, so again, that makes Zenith seem like a screaming deal. Zenith is 500 square feet bigger. It's got 1,000 more square feet above grade. It's a bigger lot. It's coming with the basement finished and landscaped. I think you can see where I'm coming from now. Again, we all know that that micro submarket neighborhood is kind of the odd part of the deal, but I think from the grand scheme of things, there would be buyers lining up if he advertised this on the open market to buy. Okay, that's under contract. That's what people are buying right now. Let's look at what's sold in the past year that fits this same criteria. 32 total properties, east side. You can kind of see median price of the 32 right here where my mouse is in the high 6s to 800. And then houses 1.8, 1.4, 1.1, blah, 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 blah. Let's refine these to a similar sized new home as Zenith. So I'm going to look at houses between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet. Oops. 4, 5. There's 4 of them. East Side Salt Lake. All of these have sold in the past year. Again, we're looking in a big market area, all east side, but the absolute cheapest sale in the past year for a new construction home between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet with a 2-car garage is $929. Then $985, then 1.1, then $1,050,000. 2-car, 2-car, 3-car, 2-car. 4,300 feet, 4,500 feet, 4,200 feet, 4,000 feet. Finished and landscaped, finished and landscaped, finished and landscaped, finished and landscaped. Again, I know, okay, this one is 15th South, 11th East. This one is 35th South, 37th East. This one is 55th South, 1900 East. 9th South, 1000 East. True, again, to the neighborhood. But again, the begging question is, the cheapest one's $930, and then they all go up over $1 million. So, for a couple $100,000 less, would someone take Brickyard that's bleeding into Sugar House? Again, I argue that people would. Okay. That's looking at all data surrounding new construction. Let's shift gears and let's totally slice the apple another way. Again, these are the ways I would look at investing in something. And to be frank, I've halfway considered figuring out a way to buy Zenith, even though I'm involved in a bunch of other deals, if you don't buy it, because I think he's underselling it after I do all this research. Okay, let's totally shift gears, clear out our query, and forget new construction, and let's just look at let's look at just that area. So let's say active homes for sale that are single family from, let's see, in Salt Lake County, Southeast. And let's just go from like 1700 South to 3900 South. Again, I know Sugar House is a different neighborhood, but let's just go, and let's go from 0, and let's go west of 13th East. So let's keep this whole search west. So from State Street to 13th East, from 17th South to 3900 South. And let's look at houses between, again, 4 to 5,000 feet in size. Now this is removing new construction. Okay, this is interesting, and I already knew this because I looked it up yesterday. But if you go from 17th South all the way to 39th and from State Street to 13th East, there's only one property for sale that is between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet. And it's this POS on 2900 South, 468 East, which is the hood. And it's 589 or 559 now. They start at 589, and it's 4,000 feet with a 2-car. And it borders a busy street. It totally needs to be gutted and redone. That is the cheapest, larger property someone could buy right in your immediate area that an appraiser would consider maybe an active comp. And it's 560, and it's a piece of junk. So the begging question is not where this Zenith house is a bad neighborhood. It's that in an appraiser's box, there are not that big of sized properties, okay? And you probably intuitively know this about your neighborhood. There's not larger properties. All right, is there anything in escrow or that sold in the past year from 17th South to 39th and from State to 1300 East between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet? Totally shocking again. There's only 2 properties in the past year, okay? And they sold for 410 and 440 without even looking at them. This had a 1-car garage, this had no garage, okay? Here's my overarching point about you trusting either software or friends that are telling you without even knowing anything about this Zenith property that it's maybe not a good deal or wouldn't appraise for this or that. Well, yeah, I'm kind of like, no shiz, Sherlock. And by the way, that house was on 7th East, still sold for 440. That's because in that immediate neighborhood west of 13th, there are no similar sized homes. Forget new construction. There aren't. Let's zoom back out to the 50,000 foot level though. I can tell you, and this is not a sales pitch for my years in real estate, when something is on the edge of a neighborhood and the overall market and economy is good, then absolutely people look for that diamond in the rough. And Zenith is one of those properties that's 1 block away from data that supports a much higher value. Let me show you. So let's change one factor in that search criteria we just did. Let's just go east of 13th. And let's leave all the other criteria the exact same. So if we go from 17th South to 3900 South, houses between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet, and 13th East up, there are currently 8 properties for sale, okay? And they range from, there's one for 559, probably totally needs to be redone. Yep, old grandma house. And then there's the next cheapest is 700,000. We're not looking at new construction. This is just, you want a 4,000 to 5,000 square foot house somewhere between 17th South and 39th and east of 13th. Cool, you got that one grandma house you could gut and remodel, and you're gonna be in it more than you would be into Zenith, and then the next house is 700. The next house, 700. Next one, 710, next one, 760, next one, 829, next one, 850, next one, 929. Again, all similar sized. All right, what about under contract? Same search area. 4 properties. Cheapest one, 600. Next cheapest, the new construction one we already saw at 760. Unfinished basement, yard not included. Next one, 1.1. Next one, 1.45. Okay, and that one at 1.45, yes, different neighborhood, but it's still Mill Creek. It's just far east of you. Yes, has views, but it's a 1/4 acre lot. It's only a 2-car garage. It was built in 2000. It's 4,800 square feet. All right, same thing. What about sold? 18 properties that have sold in the past year. Absolute cheapest, 625, up to 1.39. Where's kind of median price? That would be the 9th property, 840,000. All right, the overall point that I think you can see now is that we already knew this intuitively, but yes, that home is overbuilt for that immediate like 5-street neighborhood. You transplant it literally a little bit north or a little bit east, and it pencils all day long. In fact, it should be priced, if it was either of those directions, I'm saying about $1 million, especially with him doing the landscaping in the basement, which is a total anomaly on spec properties, okay? I already kind of gave you all the speech about build costs and all that jazz. Let me just kind of show you while we're doing this exercise. Here's our website. I want you to spend some time looking at it. It's my brother's contractor website. Here's homes we've built. We're unique on our website because we actually show people, if you go to Portfolio New Builds, what it costs us to build these houses. This home is close to you. We just finished it 2 months ago. It's 5,300 square feet. It was about $212 or $255 a square foot was our hard cost to build that for a client. These are remodels we did in Harvard, Yale. This is the cheapest, most cost-effective home we built for a client in the past year. 134 a square foot, 160. These are hard costs. So that's why I keep telling you 150 at his 4,500 square feet, which would be $675 would be his hard costs at $150 a square foot. Add architect, design, add landscaping, add the basement, add the lot. You couldn't buy another house in your neighborhood and redo that house for under $1 million. You just couldn't. Even if a friend was trying to help. So check out our website for backing up some data surrounding build costs. But I think the only reason he can let this property go at the $750 is because he virtually got that lot 5 years ago for free as part of a repossession deal he did. Okay. We've sliced value in 4 different ways: new construction, existing, going just out of the neighborhood, and then looking at build costs. Any way you slice it, it makes the house a really good deal at $750. So as I thought about it for you, here's the begging question with no pressure. If you're going to move in the next year or two, if you do think you're going to want something new or newer, and especially if you want to stay in that neighborhood or area, I'm extremely confident in advising you that that's the best deal you're going to get. And you'll be really sad that you passed it up. Now, out of the other side of my mouth, if you maybe did or didn't really want to move, you might be okay with leaving the neighborhood, you want a shorter commute, absolutely, we could probably find something that would make you happy in the southwest end of Salt Lake County or going into Lehigh for $150,000 cheaper. I'm going to say a budget of about $600. It's not going to be the same house. It's not going to be that much footage. It probably won't have the basement finished or be landscaped, but yeah, you've seen it. There's new construction like in the high 5s, low 6s that you'd probably be happy with. Here's the one caveat. And again, no sales pitch. I'm just telling you like it is. I think that if you were to do that and all these things that are scaring you, like if you needed your money back and had to sell, I actually think you'd have a harder time selling Southwest or in Utah County for what you pay than selling Zenith. Why? Because you've got tons of competition and new construction out there. You're not going to be unique. However, there are people like you that want to stay East Bench or Sugar House or Walkable or whatever, but they have the money and want new or not just new, but totally remodeled. And even people remodeling a 4,000 to 5,000 square foot house in that area, as you saw, even just a block north or a block east, you're looking at like 800 plus. So I really think it would be a steal of a deal. Now, if you bought it and had total buyer's remorse and 60 days later in the dead of winter wanted to fire sell it for what you paid, am I telling you with 100% of surety it would go like that? Well, no, but that's not because you overpaid for the house. And it wouldn't even be if the market softened. When you step above about 500 right now in Salt Lake, although houses are expensive and selling all over, over 500 represents about 18% of the sales that occurred in the past year. So there's just a smaller buyer pool. So, it's not that it would rush off the shelves. It may or may not, but in my experience, when we tear down and spec houses in eclectic neighborhoods, there's always people just waiting for that. And you can be kind of an arrogant seller when you're the owner of a property like that, because as you're seeing, it's an anomaly property. It doesn't exist. So people have to pay up. And this may sound scary to you, but I've seen hundreds of times in my career where buyers pay over an appraised value because they understand this bigger picture. I mean, ask any of your friends that have ever lived in California. It's extremely common for banks and appraisals and software to pack a property into this box and say it's only X, and then buyers and sellers negotiate a price that's 20, 30% more, and then the seller just brings the cash. And I think we might be getting over nervous about this for no reason. I was just trying to prep you. If an appraiser looks at what I'm looking at and sees that there isn't properties that large in that neighborhood, I still think it might appraise for more than even the 750. So that's my take on it. Again, no pressure, but from a data-driven standpoint, I really do think it's a really, really good deal, especially with the quality, the lot size, basement finished and landscaping. And here's another thing. Don't believe any of your friends that say you could slap in the landscaping for this, you could finish the basement for that. In our labor market, it has gotten absolutely absurd. I'll bet you if you were to really try to finish that basement, it would be a nightmare, take forever, and that footage probably cost 70 grand. And then even minimal landscaping, you'd still spend another 30 grand just to get somebody to show up, and it'd be a nightmare all through next spring and summer. It's impossible to get labor. Talk to somebody who's actually in contracting right now, and they'll tell you that. Having said all that, I understand and have done similar deals as to what you're involved in right now in your business. I've experienced that kind of stress, and I understand it's really hard to make a decision when you're living in that kind of stress. And so I myself get an attitude of just, I can't handle this, forget it. But I've gone through those a few times and looked back and gone, man, the way I was operating mentally refrained me from making a good decision. And so for you, again, no pressure. What I think it boils down to is this simple. Are you going to buy and move or not? If it's just kind of a maybe, then maybe you can table it. But I think you would not find another diamond in the rough. And the crowning factor is if you want to stay in that area. And it's even crazier if you want newer or new construction. If you want to stay in your area, you want new construction, forget about it. You're going to be so pissed in a year, 2, 3 that you didn't buy the house, because even if the market softens, you're not going to find something that's that quality footage location for under 750. It ain't going to happen. We just went through it thoroughly, and we went through all the data of the past year. Okay, I hope that helps. Hopefully the video isn't too long, and hopefully this recorded correct, because I just probably went on and on for like a half hour.